Good afternoon, folks, and welcome back. It is Micah and Tom once again reconnecting. Tom has been a busy man as of we on the recruiting front. And Tom, great to see you again, man. How has life been?
It's been very busy. I've been down in Florida helping out down there, and then had to run a project up in South Dakota at the Fort Randall Dam. So it's a lot of work out there, and just trying to stay cool right now.
I can completely understand that, and Road Warrior in it as always, which is freaking money, dude. So awesome. Did you get to do anything fun while you were up in the Dakota area?
Saw Mount Rushmore.
That's always a good time.
Yeah,
Getting a
and
little
they
bit of
they have
presidential
Crazy
love.
Horse up there too.
I'll be dang. I haven't made it up that far, so one of these
Yeah, they're
days
huge.
perhaps we'll get there. Well, dude, so like we did last time, we'll kind of go through. So for those of you who aren't familiar, Tom and I cut some content. The interview that we did last time on NETA, it's hosted on YouTube, and we also cut clips and hosted to our LinkedIn group, Veterans in Field Service Engineering. And so with the continuation and the feedback we got from that, Tom and I agreed to get back on a show here and discuss the differences and similarities between NETA and NICET. And with that, I've got a couple of pre-framed questions for Tom, and so I'll go ahead and kick that off. And so, Tom, based on our last discussion, we're going to talk through NICET and how it follows the tech, vice the company. Can you kind of talk through what is NICET?
So NICET stands for the National Institute for Certification in Engineering Technologies. It's like a third party, kind of like NETA. The website is nicet.org if you're interested and you want to take a look at it. But it's not just, they have one certification, which is EPT, which is Electric Power Technology. That's what I got mine in. But they also have other ones for fire alarm, civil engineering, I think plumbing's on there, security systems. So there's plenty of certifications on there, and it's just engineering technology. But nicet.org is where you can find that. And it is recognized by a lot of manufacturers and other companies in the industry.
Gotcha. Very cool. And so that is a really good kind of touching on the NICET and the definitions. And I've done some of that looking myself and on the website. Very interesting stuff. And I did find that to be very unique in that NICET, and like NICET seems to just cover a larger variety of stuff. Is that kind of the overarching consensus
Yeah.
there?
Yeah, it's not really focused like NETA. NETA is the International Electrical Testing Association.
Yeah.
So it's 100% electrical focused, or something that may apply to the electrical industry.
Okay, gotcha. And then, so is there a correlation between like NETA and NICET? And if so, makes it relevant to the industry as a whole?
Between NETA and NICET, they both have certification levels 1, 2, 3, and 4 for the electric power technology course of NICET. They're both recognized by a lot of employers. Even if you're a NETA certified company, they'll still recognize that you're NICET certified. It just won't help the company. But it does, it's definitely, a check block on your resume, to let them know that you've been doing this for a while. You know your way around. There's a lot of other similarities, but like you said, the NICET will follow a lot of other professions out in the industry as well. So there's a big difference there. NETA will follow you if you go from one NETA company to another, but really NETA is it's for the employer and their technicians. NICET is purely you. So you have to apply for it. You have to go through the processes, and you have to pay for your own test, and you have to maintain your CTDs, continuing training and development, in order to stay certified. So, but a lot of manufacturers will recognize, because manufacturers like Square D or Schneider Electric, Eaton, ABB, they cannot be NETA certified, so they will recognize and help you maintain sometimes your NICET certification, but your NICET certification won't help the NETA company. So there's a little bit of an overlap there where they're both recognized by both parties, but only one can help you keep one and one can help you keep the other.
Now that totally makes sense. And then during our last conversation, you had also kind of touched on the difficulty of both the NETA and NICET exams. What can folks kind of expect from those exams?
I would say, I've only taken them, I've only taken them myself. I haven't read all the different types of templates that they have for them, but I will say that, NETA 1, you don't have to take a test. NICET 1, you do have to take a test. And NICET 1 is very safety oriented, very basic electrical for the EPT course. And then NETA 2 is pretty, I would say it's a lot of safety and basic electrical. There could be a little, wrenches thrown in there to get you thinking a little bit. But the NICET 2 I would say it was a little more challenging. It was more technical based. The NETA 3, I think, was more supervisor based, and the NICET 3 was very, very technical. I would say that the NETA was definitely looking for supervisors, making sure that you can run a crew, whereas NICET was trying to make sure that you actually know what you're talking about when you're doing the work, not just that you can manage a crew and the safety of others. So I haven't taken my NICET 4 yet, but I imagine that it's probably going to be a little bit harder than the NETA 4 technical wise. But I'm planning on taking that soon.
So just kind of summarize that one. So would you definitely say that the NICET is from the electrical power technology side of their credentialing is a lot more technical centered than the NETA would be, like you kind of touched on as a summary?
I feel like it was, but it could also just be the questions that I had on my tests. Every test is different. If you go take one and I go take one, we'll see different questions on each. So I would say that mine definitely felt like that, and I also took my NETA 2 back in 2015 or so, and I took my NICET 2 in 2018 or 2019. So, they could have had the different question structures for the different time periods too.
Absolutely. No, and it's usually, that's usually pretty typical of a big question bank, so obviously to throw in the variety. And we kind of walked through your time in Army Prime Power and how you've gotten out. You can kind of highlight that if you'd like, just so we can have a continuation there. But as a Prime Power guy or gal that's getting out, do you figure that, or do you found that NICET, that you were able to leverage NICET in addition to your NETA any differently than rather than just having, say, NETA by itself?
I would say when I was transitioning out of the military, having both of them, everyone recognizes NETA, but if you're looking at working with ABB or someone like that, they're gonna tell you like it's great that you're NETA 2, but and I was a NETA 2 when I was transitioning out. It's great that you're NETA 2, but we can't help you maintain that. So even if you wanted to get your NETA 3, you wouldn't be able to do that in that company. But if you wanted to prove that you're good at your job and that you should, you want to move to the next level, then you should get your NICET. And that way, ABB, if you're going to work for them, you can continue to develop your NICET 3 and your NICET 4 while you're employed by them, maintaining it yourself. And then it's just another red flag, or whatever, not really red flag, but a good card to drop down and say, look, I've been doing my due diligence. I'm a NICET 4 now. Can pay raise or promotion or whatever it may be. When I was transitioning out of the military, I didn't have my NICET. I barely even knew what it was for the most part, but I did have my NETA. So everyone recognizes NETA, I feel like, a little bit more than the NICET. But both of them are definitely going to help you. And if you get your NICET and your NETA, and you work with a NETA company like I'm doing, it's kind of like having the best of both worlds, because you can go ahead and say, I want to keep my NETA because they're going to pay to get you CTDs to keep your NETA, right? And then NICET says, well, you get CTDs not only for working in the industry, but you also get them and you can double tap off of the NETA ones. So in that, respect, you can double tap your CTDs and maintain both certifications by just having your employer maintain your NETA. So
that's awesome. And what does that look like? So, as far as as far as NICET, the process of submitting CDDs, I know this is getting a bit into the weeds, but like from an administrative standpoint, how much of a pain in the rear is it for you to maintain, your continuing education credentials?
It's really not bad. NETA, your employer will do it for you for the most part, as long as you get the training and you go to it and all said and done there. But when on NICET, it's 100% up to you. So let me back up for a second and we'll talk about you go to nicet.org, you set up an account, get all that registered and everything. They'll give you a certification number. You'll just basically be a person, a number on their file, right? And once you get that done, then you can set up and apply for whichever fields you want, and it's an application process that you have to go through. So I think it's maybe like 10 pages. You need to get recommendations from people. You need to include supervisor signature, show what the percentages of type of work that you do on a daily routine basis, and your supervisor has to sign off on that.
Okay.
And then you also you have to say years in the industry. I mean, it's an actual process, like an application packet that you have to submit to them. Once you do that, that is just asking to go take the test essentially. So you submit the application packet and then you go register for the test. You pay for that yourself, and once you get that test and the application's 100%, you go take the test. You're done. All right, now you're a NICET 1. Every single one after that, you just have to, every 3 years, you have to update that, that qualification packet, it'll be loaded onto NICET for the most part. You just go on there, tweak little things on your profile, and say, no, now I do more field work or less field work. And then you just pay for your NICET 2, pay for your NICET 3, however you need to, progress through that system. But as far as every 3 years you get your CTDs, you just go online and you go to your profile, and there's one of the tabs you click on, and what you're going to do is you'll set up continuing education for just staying in the field. So they have one how long have you been working in your job? And some people might be an engineer. They've been doing dual roles, and so they only do electrical part for half the year, and so you can actually account for that online.
Okay.
They'll give you credit for the amount of time that you work in the field, and then any other CTDs, you just take the PDF and you load them online, say what it is and the basic name and the CTD count, and load it up, and they will assess them and give you credits as needed.
Okay, so it's basically once you do it, now for the CTD aspect of it, does the supervisor have to sign off on that as kind of like a validation? Nothing.
No.
You basically self-submit.
No. Once you get the actual application up there to say what you are and what you've been doing, then I think you don't have to do the supervisor sign off at all. I mean, I might be wrong. It's been a while since I've had to do it, but either it's before every test, or I'm pretty sure it's just the initial qualification packet when you apply for it.
That totally makes sense. And that's pretty much all we had for the generalized discussion here. We're running at 13 minutes, so I think we did a little bit better job of sticking to time as we wanted to from the last one. And if you guys are into this stuff, please give us some feedback. We want to continue to contribute and give back to the community as a whole. As veterans, both Tom and I and those who we're interviewing, we're doing a very concerted effort to make folks aware of the field service realm. So please contribute to the group. Please give us your feedback so that we can kind of drive our future-facing conversations as far as format goes, and we'll share if there's a desire to hear what we have to say. And Tom, as always, man, it is an absolute pleasure. I'm sure you got 1,000 things going on. I'll be getting back to sourcing myself today, and I'm sure you probably got packing and stuff getting ready for the next week. But as always, man, absolute pleasure chatting with you.
Yeah, sure. And if any of your viewers have any other questions transitioning out, cool little pointers or tips of advice, or maybe even just some NICET or NETA questions or anything out there, please feel free to reach out to Micah or myself, or respond to the video when it gets loaded, or however they want to do, and we can definitely help them out with that.
Love it, Tom, and thanks again for your time on this beautiful Sunday, man. I appreciate you.
Yep, you have a good day.
You too.